Welcome to the road to a million, right? This is episode number 105. 2 years ago, we started this freaking podcast. Why? Why did we start this podcast 2 years ago?
We were about to launch Mesa 5-Star Cleaning, document our success and or failure.
Yeah. There's somebody on here in the Zoom chat who made a comment about that as he was signing up for the mentorship. His name's Greg. He's on here, and he's like, that takes a lot of, and I won't use the word he used, but I'll say courage to do that. And because either we look like heroes or we look like zeros. But guys, there's a story behind the start of this business that I have never told. And at the end of today's call, you're going to understand why the story matters. Because Katie said earlier, we do have an announcement today. But if I just told you guys right now, it wouldn't mean anything. And so let me tell you guys the story, because the story explains the thing that most cleaning business owners never, ever figure out. And as you listen to the story today, I want you to be constantly asking yourself this question. Which character in the story are you? A little over 5 years ago, Kate and I started our first home cleaning business in Bozeman, Montana. How many clients, Katie, did we start with?
0.
How much cleaning experience did we have?
None, with the exception of cleaning my own house, which was questionable at that time.
And how many ideas did we know what we were doing with?
Even less.
Yeah, 0 idea what we were doing. And so what did you do in this business, Katie?
I cleaned.
Yeah. And I ran the office, and I use that term very loosely. And I can remember one of the very first cleans I ever sold. It was a move-in clean, and I quoted it at just over $200, something around there, and I figured it was going to take roughly 4 hours. Katie, how long were you actually there for?
8.
And I remember when Katie got home, I was like all excited. I was just like, how'd it go? And Katie, after it just got done cleaning all day, pretty tired, new to cleaning, it was good, right? As she said. And I was like, cool. But I was like, so I didn't question the extra 4 hours. I just thought that she spent the extra time just doing a really good job. But the next morning, after I texted the client asking how everything went, I just got picture after picture and only one response. Was she even here? That the client refused to pay. But I saw a bigger problem than having to comp a clean. I had to tell Katie that she was bad at cleaning.
Really bad.
I believe the early stages of business have little to do with tactics and everything to do with the humility to learn. And learning doesn't mean stop making mistakes. It means having the courage to put yourself in situations where you don't have all the answers. And you're willing to have the courage to do it anyway and to receive the feedback and then be able to adjust your behavior. And what Katie did, what most people won't ever do. She went back into another client's home. She didn't point her finger at the client. She didn't try to convince the client to change her mind. She changed her behavior. And experiences like this made Katie better rather than bitter. And that moment taught me something I will never, ever forget. A business will never outgrow the personal skills of the owner. I have this notebook. It's always next to me. I write down ideas, tasks, reminders, goals, just anything that is in my brain, I just get it out. I put it in there. One August night, this was in 2023, Katie and I had dinner with one of our cleaners on our team. It was the first time I'd ever met this person before. And I remember writing this down in my notebook. Elia is a superstar in the making.
For those of us that can't read it, he wrote what it actually said below his handwriting.
because my handwriting is very good. And so the next day I told Katie, we need to get this girl into the office. And Katie agreed. So she reached out to Elia, and at first she objected. Why did she object, Katie?
Because her clients, she absolutely loved them and she didn't want to stop serving them.
And what was the thing that you said that really helped her understand a different perspective?
Yeah, I sold her a bigger opportunity of impact. She individually could only impact the 10 clients that she could serve every single week. But if she came into the office, she could have 10 cleaners who then served 10 clients every single week. So that was a 10x impact. And she could impact over 100 families every single week if she came into the office.
That's all she needed, guys. Just know that she could make a bigger impact. And Elia came into the office like a hurricane. She just was go. And at the time when Elia came in, we had 3 other office people. And within just a couple months, Elia was doing the work of all 3 of them by herself. And by January of 2024, just 5 months after she came to the office, she had earned the opportunity to become the general manager of Bozeman 5-Star Cleaning. Now, that title also came with the burden of 100% responsibility of this business. But it also came with a huge opportunity for her to increase her income. And so, back to this notebook. I wrote down a goal. And my goal in January of 2024 was to have Elia make $100,000 in a single year as the general manager of Bozeman 5-Star Cleaning. Last year in 2025, Elia and I got to check that goal off. And she went from cleaning 10 houses a week to growing a $1.5 million cleaning business without Katie and I even being in the state of Montana. And it's because of Elia that Katie and I had the opportunity to even think about starting another location and do calls like this and coach other cleaning business owners across the country. Speaking of cleaning business owners, that's you guys. The first ever couple who tried to give me money to grow their cleaning business. Katie, what did I tell them?
Nope.
Nah. Their names were Jessica and Lucas. Right? And when they came to me, they had been running their cleaning business for 10 years. They had just paid another coach over $10,000. And in the time while working with that coach, their monthly revenue went from $20,000 a month to $13,000 a month.
Ouch.
That's backwards. And now they wanted to give me money? I told them no. Now, I didn't say no because I didn't care. I didn't say no because I didn't want to help them. I said no because if somebody gives me money, I feel like I have a responsibility to help them get the outcome they're looking for. But Jessica and Lucas didn't take that no for an answer. They came back and asked again. And something in me just knew if I took their money, I would be fully committed to helping them get an ROI. Now, 6 months after I said yes, I opened up a handful of spots for weekly one-on-one coaching. And Jessica and Lucas took this opportunity and they jumped at it. They were quite literally the first people to sign up. That was 114 weeks ago. And we still meet every single week. In fact, I just met with them this morning. And so, back to the notebook. It was actually on the same day that I talked about Elia's goal. I actually wrote down this goal. I really wanted to help Jessica and Lucas take home $100,000. Now, if you guys remember, just 2 years earlier, when we started working together, they were doing $13,000 a month, which is about $156,000 a year in revenue. In 2025, their business did $1.1 million in revenue. And here's all I will say is that they made more profit in 2025 than they did total revenue when we started working together. Yeah. Another one of those crazy ideas, those crazy goals that we got to check off. And it just makes me really just appreciate their courage to not take no for an answer. Kitty, what's the hardest stage to grow through in a home cleaning business?
20 to 40K.
The 20K a month to 40K a month, guys, it's the hardest stage. Now, all the stages are hard. Every stage is hard. I want to be really clear. They're all hard. They all have their challenges. But if you're stuck around $20,000 right now, I want you to pay attention because I'm going to introduce you to another couple, Tyler and Kellen Stowers. They started their home cleaning business in June of 2023 from zero. Zero clients, zero experience. And about 18 months in, they were stuck at $20,000 a month. Katie, why is this stage so brutal?
Yeah, you have to stop doing what you're really good at, cleaning. And you have to do what you're really bad at and generate revenue.
Yeah, so you have to get out of the field, guys. You got to stop cleaning. But your clients love you, just like they love to lie. And you're good at it. And honestly, the truth is like you take more money home as a cleaner than you do as an owner in this stage. And then once you do have the courage to get out of the field, you have no idea what you're actually supposed to be doing. You need to learn systems and introduce some softwares. You need more clients and more cleaners. But like, where do you even start? It's quite literally uncomfortable in every single direction. And this is exactly how Tyler and Kellen felt. Their cleaning business was draining their finances and their confidence. And I knew money was tight, but I could also see that they were committed. I saw that they kept on pushing, even despite unfavorable conditions. And so it was a little over a year ago, I made them an unusual offer. I offered to coach them at no cost. But, it's a big but, we had to do it live in front of the entire home cleaning mentorship. What'd they say, Katie?
Yep.
Hell yeah.
Let's do it.
And so in February of 2025, we kicked off the first ever 20K to 40K live coaching series. And every single week, the clients inside the mentorship got to watch me take Tyler and Kellen through a systematic process of growing a home cleaning business. And 15 weeks later, Tyler and Kellen finished June 2025 hitting $40,000 a month in revenue.
It's awesome. 15 weeks.
And for you guys who are inside the home cleaning mentorship, you guys can go watch those replays and watch exactly what we did. Now, shortly after this, in July of 2025, I made an announcement inside the mentorship. I told everybody, instead of starting our next location from zero, we were going to seriously look at acquiring an existing cleaning business. We were going to buy rather than build. And we wanted to start our search first inside the home cleaning mentorship. Why? Why did we look first inside the mentorship, Katie?
Yeah, the people inside the mentorship actually have built assets that somebody would want to buy.
Yeah. Nobody's going to buy a job, guys, including Katie or I. Right? And so whether you want to ever sell your business or not, like you want to build it for it to be potentially bought. You want to build an asset. And so after making the announcement inside the mentorship, we had over a dozen people book calls to learn more. But when it came time to commit to following through on this process, there was only 2 couples who were actually serious. Can you guys guess who they were? They were Jessica and Lucas and Tyler and Kellen. Unfortunately, I had to tell Jessica and Lucas no again. They had earned the right to be the first in line, but their business is in Canada. but we did get to tell Tyler and Kellen yes. And on November 12th, 2025, we bought Sacramento 5-Star Cleaning, now our third location. And what is cool is that this was exactly 1 year and 1 month from the day I wrote this down in this notebook. And last month, in February of 2026, the shortest month of the year, Sacramento 5-Star Cleaning hit a personal record of $55,000 in revenue. Another one of those ideas that seemed crazy at the time somehow made it come true. Now, guys, I got a confession. Most of the ideas in this notebook, I never share publicly. And Katie, you know this, better than anyone else does. Why?
A lot of them are not good ideas. A lot of them are bad.
And Katie gets to hear some of these ideas. Not even all of them. Katie doesn't get to hear all of them, but the ones that I think are good, Katie, I can tell by her response that they're not good. And that's the reason why I don't share them, because they're not good ideas. But today I'm actually going to share a bad idea, which I've never done before. And so over 2 years ago, before we launched Mesa, before we bought Sacramento, before Alaya grew Bozeman to 1.5 million, this was December of 2023, I had the idea to move Jessica and Lucas down to Arizona to help us launch Mesa 5-Star Cleaning. Yeah. Jessica and Lucas don't even know about this idea. I didn't tell them. It was a bad idea because Jessica and Lucas at that time were still operating their business. Katie and I didn't have a predictable system to grow a home cleaning business. So that idea, it just stayed quiet in my notebook. But you guys want to know how to turn a bad idea into a good one? You create some evidence. And since that idea, Katie and I started Mesa 5-Star Cleaning, started with 0 clients, 0 reputation, exactly 2 years ago yesterday. Happy birthday, Mesa.
Happy birthday, Mesa.
Happy birthday. It's like our 3rd child, our 4th child, our 5th child. I don't even know. We have so many children now. 2 are humans and the other 3 are businesses. And yeah, in that Mesa location, we found an amazing human, Keziah. She's the one who runs that location. And grow it, she did. That business averages about $20,000 a week in revenue. And it just crossed $900,000 in trailing 12 months revenue. Speaking of revenue, Katie, how much did all 3 locations do in 2025 combined?
$2.8 million revenue.
Yeah. And what was the profit?
$400,000.
Yeah. And so when I had this idea come back to me on January 1st, 2026, to have Jessica and Lucas start the next location, it didn't seem like such a bad idea anymore. And after working up the courage, I asked Jessica and Lucas to hop on a Zoom call with Katie, and I nervously vomited this idea all over them. They had no context. They had no idea it was coming, and I just watched them take it in, and I waited anxiously for their response, just anything, just like they had done every time before. They said yes. However, the agreement from Jessica and Lucas alone were not enough. As I mentioned earlier, Jessica and Lucas live in Canada, and working in the United States legally is complicated. They needed a work visa, and technically, based on their current credentials, they didn't meet the standard requirements. And so we reached out to an immigration attorney, and after reviewing the situation, the attorney said that while there was a possible path, it would be difficult, and it would require his firm to guide us through this entire process. And without hesitation, Jessica and Lucas committed to spending $3,500 on legal fees just for the opportunity to make this thing happen. No guarantee. That's commitment. And after weeks of paperwork and preparation, Lucas got on a plane by himself and flew to New Jersey, not to be confused with New York for all you Canadians out there, to present his case directly to U.S. immigration. And Lucas told me the story of him walking into the room full of 10 officers, and he took a seat and he was like looking at each one to see like which one looked the nicest, which one was going to give him the best opportunity. And they finally called him, and he went to a room with an officer and spent 30 minutes, officer flipping through the paperwork, asking him question after question, just trying to see if this guy was telling the truth. And then the officer looked down at the passport, picked up the stamp, slammed it down. Visa granted. And today, another crazy idea from that notebook we get to check off. Because Jessica and Lucas have officially moved themselves and their kids down to Arizona. And today we get to make the announcement that they'll be helping us launch location number 4, Gilbert 5-Star Home Cleaning. Now, some of you guys might be wondering, why? Like, why would they do this? Why would they uproot their family, spend their own money, fly across the country for an immigration hearing, move from Canada to the United States? They already have a $1 million cleaning business that makes over $200,000 a year in profit. That business, it gives them the freedom to do whatever they want to do. Why this? And I won't speak directly to that answer, but I believe that Jessica and Lucas, just like Aliyah, Tyler, and Kellen, they see the opportunity to make impossible dreams possible. They see the opportunity to chase a goal so unreasonable that 99% of the time, people would be right to tell you, you can't do that. But when you tell people like this, you can't, they will spend their entire lives showing you they can. I think back to that first clean in Bozeman 5-Star Cleaning. And at the time, I remember feeling slightly embarrassed, very scared, and serious doubts. But looking back, that moment, it really set the foundation for everything that came after. Katie and I are no smarter than anyone here, nor do we have any unique advantages. But what we did have, courage to move towards fear, towards uncertainty. We used every no, every setback, every failure as a test. It just tested how much we actually believed. We've lost money. We've lost sleep. We even lost hope at times. And it was just a test. How committed were we? And so I'll ask you again, like I asked you in the very beginning, which character are you? Are you Katie in that very first clean? Naively optimistic, but very bad, but the desire to get better? Are you Tyler and Kellen? Do you just need someone to believe in you so that you can start to believe in yourself? Or are you Jessica and Lucas? You've been doing this for a long time, years. You face rejection, you face failure, but you still believe it's possible. The road to building $1 million business isn't about cleaning better. It's about looking in that freshly cleaned mirror and seeing someone better. And regardless of which character you connect with the most, every person started in the exact same spot. 0 clients, 0 certainty, and just a decision. And so if you made the decision to commit to growing a $1 million cleaning business, and you want to write your own chapter in this story, James is going to drop a link below so you can book a free game plan call. And on this call, you have an opportunity to map out exactly what it looks like for your business to actually get to $1 million. So if you're inside the mentorship, great opportunity for you to get clarity. If you're not inside the mentorship, also great opportunity for you to get clarity. And so the only question I have for you is, do you have the courage to commit to a goal so unreasonable? Most people will be right by telling you can't do it. And if you're willing to bet against the odds You're my kind of person. I would love to be able to help you on this journey. Yeah, guys, over the next couple of weeks, we'll be sharing more. We'll be talking about what we're actually going to do, the strategy behind it. How do we actually go from zero again? Yeah. And just want to give you guys who are on this call today just a lot of credit for this. Like this only happens because you guys, whether you guys realize it or not, have believed in Katie and I. A lot of you guys have been on this journey with us for years. And Katie, do you remember when we started documenting this journey before Mesa, before we did this Road to Million podcast, when we started sharing what we were doing with Bozeman? Do you remember those? Like how Jessica and Lucas even heard about us back in 2023? Because we were just doing random Zoom calls on the internet, documenting our journey of growing Bozeman to $1 million.
Yeah. I think one or two people would maybe show up.
Yeah, they were definitely very small rooms.
It's great.
Yeah. And at that time, guys, Bozeman was doing around $50,000 a month. And we were like, we're going to get to $1 million. You guys can watch us. And we'll show you guys how to do it. You know, we just committed to the goal. I had no idea how to get there. And as much as I would love to show you guys my certainty on getting Gilbert there, what did we talk about last night, Katie? After we just had dinner with Jessica and Lucas, what did we talk about?
Yeah, for me, reality sunk in, and I realized that it's going to be harder, probably than 1, 2, and 3 were.
There's nothing easy going to be about it. And that comes from being informed how hard the first two would get to $1 million, and we're in the process of growing SAC to $1 million, and there's absolutely nothing easy about it. It takes everything. And this one's going to be no different. It's going to take every bit of resources, money, time, attention. It's going to take everything. But excited for the opportunity to actually be able to have this be our focus, because it really is an opportunity. So thankful for you guys for being on this journey and being supportive by showing through these calls. Some of you guys are inside the mentorship. Super appreciate you guys. Some of the people we actually get an opportunity to work with on a weekly basis, like Jessica and Lucas every single week. We also get to work with someone like Tyler and Kellen every single week because they're part of our business, and Alaya and Keziah, like, get to work with you guys every single week. And yeah, it's so fun. It's so fun waking up every single day with a purpose and with meaning. And so also give Jessica and Lucas some love. Holy shit. They're crazy. As much as I think that some of the things we do are crazy, Katie, I think that, yeah, it's wild. It's wild to see. So it's going to be a short one today. Katie, anything else that you want to share before we hop off today?
I think just to go in on that, I had respect for Jessica and Lucas, uprooting their entire life. And yeah, zero on anything with the exception of just hope that we can turn this into something. Yeah. So appreciate the heck out of you guys.
It's always the people who can see before there's evidence that they're able to get an outsized return. And by the time everyone sees it, it's when you're late to the party. And my hope in the next couple of years is that the evidence becomes so clear that all of a sudden people are just like jumping on the bandwagon. That's the kind of evidence that we're trying to create. But in the beginning, we need some of those people who have a little bit more vision, have a little bit more faith, a little bit more trust, a little more courage. And so that's why I just have a lot of respect for the Elias, the Tyron Kellens, the Jessica Lucases, Keziahs, and like people who can see it before there is insurmountable evidence. Because all of a sudden when there is, then it becomes easier to jump on. So thank you guys for making this possible, the first early adopters and everybody who's behind them. Like, it's still early. There's still lots of early adopters that we need to continue to get this thing going to make it so there's no doubt in anyone's mind that it's possible. So
all the winners.
Yeah. All right, guys. Happy Monday. Thank you guys for hopping on. Thank you guys for getting on this one. It's a cool one. special one, obviously. And next week we'll be back. And while it'll be hard to top, I got some ideas. I got some ideas on how to continue to push the envelope and how to continue to make these calls just as valuable for you guys. So happy Monday, guys.
Keep you in the good ideas next week.
Yeah.
Good ideas.
Yeah, exactly. I have lots of ideas between now and next week. We'll see if any of them turn into good ideas. So appreciate you guys. Happy freaking Monday. We'll see you guys all next week.
Bye.
Bye, guys.